Hey you guys, and welcome to this video. How are you all doing? It's been an interesting week so far. It's been a lot of energy coming in, as I guess most of you are aware of, and there's been really deep clearing going on this week. It's been a lot of integration for me personally, which is why I wrote a post earlier in this week, which I shared on the community tab on YouTube and also on the Heart of Light page on Facebook. And I will go a bit more into what I wrote there now, and also a bit more what I've been shown, because everything we're going through now is a preparation for what is to come. I don't have the whole picture, but I do have some facets of it, and I keep getting more, so I will share what I have gotten so far. And I will try to present this in a way that you can follow, because there's so many aspects. Everything is interconnected, as we know. So there's what's happening energetically, what's happening in each individual, which is making up the whole collective, how the earth is moving. There's so many aspects to what's going on. So it's impossible to say exactly when something is going to happen and how it's going to occur. But the waves, how it's moving and the direction it's taking and how it's looking and what we're being prepared for, is what I have been receiving a bit on. And as always, take what resonates and just discard the rest. And I hope it's helpful for you. I also want to thank everyone for liking, subscribing and sharing, and thank you to everyone commenting on the videos. It's very nice to read all your comments, and I know a lot of other people really appreciate when you are sharing as well, so thank you. Now this week, from the energies that have been coming in, what has been happening is that the lower chakras are being cleared. For me, there has been things suddenly coming to light that I have been intending to get in contact with for like 10 years. And I haven't gotten to the depth of it that I have this week. And I think that shows a bit of the potential that lies within the things that are coming up now. So if you really use whatever trigger, whatever comes up, whatever energy coming in, whatever it might push on, if we use that as a gift to really see where the spotlight is on, where can we transform, because it's only coming up because it's ready to transform, it's ready to be seen, it's ready to transform, and it's making you stronger, it's making you getting more into alignment moving forward. And in these 3 lower chakras, there's what we're moving towards with all this clearing, whatever comes up, because this is very individual, what comes up for each and every one. As these chakras are going through a deeper clearing, we are unlocking more of the creativity, and we are coming more into our own power. There's a lot around how we are holding ourselves back, maybe fears we have, and moving. So as we are unlocking our creativity, and that will be really on the rise in the time coming. I've been shown very specifically things that has to do with the creative energy, with the sexual energy, with the Kundalini energy for the time coming, and that this will be really on the rise to unlock more of that creative energy and the way or potentials of how that can be done in the time coming. So there's a lot now clearing and preparing for this creative energy to really unlock, to really come up, to be seen and to be used, to actually gain access to it, because there's so many layers in that second chakra that often are just holding us back, that is blocking some of that force and that's really the life force energy. So it has a lot to do with the energy, with our drive, with the creativity of how to create. And from the biggest picture right now, we are creating the new earth, and so it goes without saying that we really need to access that creative energy. Now there's also really important to come into our own power, a deeper sense of personal empowerment. That will also be a theme for quite a long time, and it has been for a while, but it will keep being that. And it's very important that both of these energies, both the creative energy and our personal power, will work together, because that's where we can actually put it into the physical world. That's where we actually can anchor something into the physical. So clearing and unlocking what's here on a much deeper level than what we have been doing is what I've been shown has been happening for a lot of people now. Following this, there will be more of an activation of the upper chakras. This follows the clearing, because as we are sort of dissolving some of that personal veil from who we are and what we are and what lies within us, which is happening with this clearing, we're also accessing more of our abilities. So we're when I say activating, it's really activating from within. It can be triggered by some energies coming in, or from a resonance with some person, from nature. So it can be triggered from different things, but the activation itself always happens within. So there's nothing outside of you that is activating you. That's really important to remember. It can trigger something in you to start activating, which is already within you. As this starts activating, we will start gaining more clarity on a mental level of our path, of our calling, of what we want to do, changes we want to make, maybe how we want to live. It can be in different areas, but the mental clarity will become better. We will feel more of that clarity gradually moving forward. We're also starting to access more of our abilities. So the third eye and the crown, probably many people, they're saying now, many people will, for the last 2 to 3 days, have felt a lot of activity, maybe pressure in the head, maybe a bit of a blurry sight sometimes, and pulsations maybe in the crown, things like this. It is, let me just tune in there, they keep talking. I just want to make sure I get what they're saying. Yeah, they're showing me now like several points actually in the brain and in the energetic body around the pineal and the pituitary gland. And they say it's very connected to the throat. So many people are saying we'll have clearings. Also, as these activations are happening, there will be clearings in the throat. Because this is where we will express the clarity. And the clarity is both the mental clarity and understanding. It's also the clarity about what we perceive, about the intuitive hits we get. It will be more integrated, what we can understand and use our brain for, and the intuitive, more receptive type of understanding. So these will become more integrated. This is what we'll sort of practice, they're saying, moving forward. As these are integrating, and we can and then we will need to start expressing more of it, because we're becoming more of who we are. And we will make shifts and changes. Many will make really radical shifts in their lives the coming half year, they're saying now. That are, or those that are already on this path. They're showing me like there's almost like waves of people making radical changes. First this next half year, then the first half of 23, and then the collective moving more into it in a different way. The last part of 23, and then a lot will be shifting moving into 24 and throughout 24. Let me just say. Yes, and they're reminding me now that the energies that came in the beginning of this week are heart activating. So it would be like if you have experienced anything or like grief coming up, it's all any type of sadness, anything that's only the releasing from the heart opening, because as the heart is opening, we're feeling more, we're accessing more of our sensitivity and also more of our connection to who we are, to our soul, to our higher self, to that energy that we are. We're connecting with that through the heart. As this heart has been activating, expanding, opening now, this is what has been triggered. That has made it so that the lower chakra starts clearing and then continues to move into more of an activation of the upper chakras. So all of this is interconnected. The whole energetic body and the physical body is like all the parts of it is very interconnected, working together. And one thing, it's like a domino effect, right? So one thing happens, it affects something else, and it starts rippling. So there's quite big shifts and changes, and it's important to remember to have a time to integrate and assimilate the energies. Do what you need to do. It's really important to nurture yourself, and also remember that others are moving through these same energies. We might not know everything of what's going on inside them, or what emotions are moving through them. Be aware of projections. Don't accept projections from others, and be really aware of when you might project yourself, because as there's so much information coming in with these energies, there's so much starting to move in our bodies, because they're less, I don't really like the word blocks, but in lack of a better word right now, something inhibiting a flow, or blocking the flow in the body. As more and more and more of these are being released, there's more energy moving, there's a higher frequency moving, there's another vibration moving through the body. And as this is happening, it's really easy to start projecting, to forget maybe how fast and how rapid things are moving. So keep observing yourself, keep owning up to your own stuff, and also be really clear on what you accept from others and not, as always. We are moving forward. We are really creating the new, more clear-headed and more heart-centered. The opening of the heart is what makes it so that we get more clear-headed, so that we gain more of that clarity, together with the clearing of the things in the lower chakras. for me these last days, it's been to an extreme. If I'm trying to or having an intention to do something that is not of my highest good, which is not aligned, it gets stopped in a very, very physical way. It's very important to stay alert, to stay open, and to pay attention and honor what is, how can I say this, what's your path, or what you are being asked to do, and also whatever might become clear that you're maybe not going to do. Excuse me. Maybe that throat clearing is starting as we speak. We are now moving into a time of rapid, accelerated shifts. It has been a lot of shifts happening very rapidly. The last couple of years have been intense. We are, though, moving into more accelerated experience of the shifts. We are moving into a fall and a purge. So collectively, we are moving towards, and we have been seeing this the last couple of days as well, several places in the world or different situations where there have been things happening that really shows and highlights questions around what we want, what are our values, how do we want to live. And this is what will continue to happen very quickly. If we get too drawn into it, and then we can be very distracted from what we want to create. But if we use these things to gain clarity of what is really important for you, what are your values, what kind of society do you want to live in, and start creating that society, start creating that emotion within yourself. If you don't have the opportunity or the possibility right now to create what you see as the big changes, start with the emotion, start with the intention and the clarity of this is what I want to live in, this is the world I want to create. Start practicing getting into that emotion and have a clear idea of where you want to move, how you want it to be, and start working with those together, because that's really making big changes energetically, which then, as we know, everything happens in the energy first and then becomes physical. There will be, so they say that personal power, an open heart and a clear mind is what we're moving towards now. This is like the three main themes or subjects, sort of, as we're moving forward now these coming weeks and months. There will be two main groups of people. So there will be one group that will be really called to start creating the new, really start physically anchoring, going into, this is what I've been mentioning in an earlier video as well, with the feminine and masculine energy within each and every one, and how we have been aligning and been preparing for using more of that masculine energy together with always having that open, receptive feminine energy aligned, so we can use both. But using then that masculine energy is what we're going to do moving forward, and especially that group in the sense of creating and physically anchoring the new. Many people will, so as I mentioned in the beginning, this creative energy will start moving There will be a lot around ways to access the creative energy, ways to unlock what's there, and to have the tools to move it from only that energy and into creating and getting that clarity, the intention, and making it into something physical. So there's this one group then creating, mostly focused on creating the new templates, the new ways, in so many, like in all areas of our lives and our world. Then there's the other main group that I was shown will be working with the release of the old. Many people will be called to work directly with releasing traumas, from both for people that have traumas from what we have been experiencing these last couple of years, and also older traumas. What I said is that it's very important, if you already work in healing in some way, as a therapist, as a space holder in some way, energy work, however the way, but you're working with it. But if you're already in that work, remember that paradigms are shifting, and that trauma release will be it will be happening so much quicker. So if we're in that work with a mindset of the energies that were a couple of years ago or 3 years ago, we will move more slowly than what actually can happen. This is not to say that we're going to stress any process and not let the process happen, but be aware of that the organic movement of that process will naturally be going quicker and moving quicker than what we have been used to. So just have that in mind as you're continuing your work, if you're doing that. We will be called to move into an anchor and stand in more unity with all these events that will come, the things we will see, that will, as we have trained for, I would say, in a way, these 2 years, we've seen a lot of division. We do experience separation and division every day, and it's very, very obvious when we look at the world. The task we have is to stand in unity and hold and anchor that unity whilst in a world that looks like division, that very, very clearly physically shows us that we are not in unity. If we get drawn into the separation, into the division, we are feeding that energy. So learning to hold the polarities, learning to hold the acceptance of a perspective which is the polar opposite to your perspective, maybe. To look at the polarities within you, to accept that it's there, but we can actually stand together even though we look at things differently, because we're all these small sparks of light from just these fractals and fragments, and we're looking at things from different angles. And we can see this in ourselves as well. If I look at my perspectives on things 10 years back, it's very different from what it is now, because I have evolved and I'm looking at things from a different angle. And so it is with every person on this planet, and we are all looking at in different ways. So if we can accept that and we can focus on coming into unity, we don't have to be the same. So this is really important, okay? So we're not moving into becoming the same person with the same opinion, doing the same thing. We are unique expressions, but we can stand together in unity. This is what we're moving forward into. They also gave me this, I see I've written down some words just when I was tuning in before I was sitting down with this video now. Trust, nurturing, acceptance, and empowered surrender. So practicing trust. Trust in you, trust in the universe, trust in the unfoldment of your life and your path, because we're really moving into a new and different part of our journey, both on an individual and a collective level right now. So practicing that trust and coming back to you is very important. Nurturing yourself, listening to what the body needs, listening to what you need, and as much as you can align with that and prioritize that. Acceptance, because everything we resist persists. So anything happening, anything we experience, if we are in resistance to it, we are not really moving forward, because we have our focus and our energy on what we are resisting instead of accepting, as difficult as that might be, that this is the situation right now, and work on releasing the emotions, feeling the emotions around it, and then moving in another direction. Empowered surrender, because surrender is something we are challenged to do sometimes. But remember that surrender is not the same as giving up, which is why I like to call it empowered surrender. So we can choose with our own power to surrender into something. Also remember, as we are shedding layers of the old, we can use that energy, because it's all alchemy, right? So if we're using what is releasing, what is coming up, what we are no longer going to be in, if you're using that to create the new, this is actually energy releasing, and we can transform that energy and we can use it to something else. Nothing is really empty. So even though something is moving, we are moving out, something is releasing, we are alchemizing it, we're transforming it into something new. So having a mindset of that is empowered, that gives you, let you see that you have choices, that let you see that you can evolve, you can move past, you can move way beyond where you have been. And even though we don't know everything that is coming, even though we don't know how it's going to look, we have the focus right now on each step and what's put in front of us at any moment, and then with that connection to ourselves, with that groundedness, and with that trust, an open heart, a gradually more clear mind, and accessing more of that creative energy, we will move forward and we will make huge changes on this earth. I think the last thing, because I see I've been chatting away for quite a while now, the last thing I want to mention is that this wave that has been coming in now with cosmic energies is not stopping. It's not really, because this is what they showed me right before I went on camera today. This wave is not really stopping. It's a new normal. We are in a new time, and that's why it's going to accelerate everything. Let me just see if there's something more. What they're saying is, never run away from you. Everything is unlocking inside of you. Everything is activating inside of you. Everything is releasing from inside of you. So again and again, come back to you, honor you, and respect, have compassion, and have empathy for everyone around you as well. I would love to hear how you guys have been feeling this week. If this resonates, please share if you know someone who might have help from this. Hope you guys are doing well. I will see you in the next video. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye.